Good morning. Happy Friday, everybody. Big waves to you. Good to see you. Oh, yeah. We got people all over the world tuning in this morning. So, yes, yes, yes. Good to see you. And we've got a birthday. We have a birthday today. Miss Sandy McFarland, it is her birthday in Hot Springs, Arkansas. So, we're going to sing to you, Sandy. We do not want you to miss our voice to kick off the day for you. So, the word for today um, is lazy. Now, Andrea picked this word. Um, so maybe she's wanting to be lazy. I don't know. Maybe it's something that she's like, you know what? I need a good, calm weekend. Well, we'll dive into the word. And it was actually really good when I looked at the word lazy. But if you look at it, it's unwilling to work or use energy. Synonyms are stuff like slack, unmotivated, procrastinate. Like, as I was looking at these words, I was thinking about myself, and I was thinking about just kind of my daily walk. Like, is there things in my life, maybe my health, maybe my profession, that I slack on, or that I'm unmotivated to do, or that I procrastinate? So last night I was listening in to the NFL draft, and Nick Saban actually come across and he said, success is not for the lazy. And he was talking about a gentleman that was like super athletic, could have absolutely went into the first round, even higher than he did, but he had only started 8 games the entire year, and he was hurt the other games. And what Nick Saban was saying was, what that shows is you can't play through the pain. And when I was reading the word lazy, he said, when you're in the NFL, you got like 17 games. You're going to have to play through the hurts and the aches and the pains. And I got to thinking about this word, and I thought, how many times do I, when life's good, when business is rolling, when when I can when I can see my body and it's performing like I want it to, I'm out there on the starting lineup. Like, I'm starting. I'm going out there. I'm good. But what happens when times get a little rocky, or I'm hurt a little bit? Do I keep playing, or do I go in and tell the coach, not this week. I'm not feeling good. And I share that with you because laziness, let's take the workplace. In the workplace, it can lead to missed deadlines, just not getting around to it, poor quality, decreased morale. Like, all of these things kind of add up. If there's laziness that creeps in, it undermines productivity. And I went back, as I end mine for lazy today, I went back to Jim Rohn. Jim Rohn said this. He said, there's about a half a dozen things that make up anything. If you want to get better at tennis, Michelle McCabe would probably pick out about 6 things that if you did daily, you could really get good at and proficient at tennis. In network marketing, I can tell you about a half a dozen things that if you're willing to do every day, you'll have success through the weeks and the months and the years. But we must attack the half a dozen things, even in our health. About a half a dozen things. If I would eat an apple a day, it's amazing what it would do for me. If I do 10 push-ups. But Jim Rohn says the easy things to do in life, we a lot of times get lazy and we just can't get them done. We've got a system running right now, and I see it as I travel. People will go, oh my goodness, I was posting twice a day and making money, and I just stopped. I just stopped. Why? I don't know. It's kind of like the apple. Why didn't you eat the apple a day? Why didn't you do the 10 push-ups a day that would transform your body? And so I encourage us all, whatever we're doing, whatever we want to go do, Look for those half a dozen things and don't get lazy around those, because those will make up the biggest wins for our life in those different areas. So, Andrea, I'll turn it to you.
Well, I love it, Coach. And I actually went in the opposite direction. And because that's kind of who I am. So all I can think about is Dave Vance. And I don't know if he's on here this morning because I can't search right now. But and I wish that I had reached out to him to get his quote, because he has a great quote about being lazy. And so if you guys don't know Dave Vance, he is Dr. Crystal Vance's daddy, and he's a brand new officer on the team, phenomenal gentleman. But he talks about he's not lazy, he's efficient. Like being lazy is a great way to be efficient. So, but most of the time, we don't hear positive words around lazy. Like the quote that I found was, laziness is nothing more than the habit of resting before you get tired. And that's Jules Renard. And it's so true, because sometimes we can wake up in the morning and go, I'm just going to sit here. I'm not going to do anything. But then I bet there's a flip side. I bet there's some positives around creating maybe a lazy atmosphere. So I looked up what are some positive words around lazy, because you guys know you always got to find the positive. So we have unhurried, laid back, unpressured, relaxed, leisurely, easygoing, mellow. Like all of those things sound pretty good. So what I looked into is, how do we use laziness to benefit us? Like if we're feeling a little lazy, if we're tired of whatever we're tired of, how can we use that laziness to our advantage? So first of all, we got to prioritize efficiency. So use laziness as a catalyst to find a more efficient way to accomplish your task. So I think about Coach. There's nothing lazy about you, Coach, so don't take it that way. But he wants to figure out, he's got to set up some automation in his bills. I'm treading carefully right here. But he wants to find some automation. Well, that's using a little bit of laziness to your advantage, right? If I can set up that automation, then I don't have to worry about a task, and then I can move on. Next, we can delegate. So delegate wisely. If I really want to be lazy, I read this book. Oh gosh, you all know it. Oh, it's going to come to me. The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Is that what it is? I think that's what it is. Thank you, Colleen, for the nod. So that book talked about you have to delegate wisely. And it really went into, sometimes when we delegate, we just create more work for ourselves, right? We just created a person that now we're going to manage every step of the way, and we're going to oversee exactly what they're doing, and we're going to have to work even harder to get that task done, because we're policing them and we're not giving them control. And it was a great chapter, so I highly recommend that you go read it. But if we delegate wisely and we give tasks to people that excel in that area, then we're going to be able to be more lazy in that area and focus on the places where we have more skill set. So, you guys can delegate your Excel spreadsheets to me, and then I'm going to delegate, the rock climbing and the parachuting and anything that takes any courage, the boat rides with Todd Rowland. I will delegate that to you, and then we'll both be happy, and we'll live in a place that's a little bit more lazy because we're focusing on our strengths. Next is focus on those high value tasks. Anybody else write a to-do list that's like 87 items long? I've got an hour to get them done, and like half of them are nonsense. Like, yes, there you go, John. So maybe yours is more effective. But if we look at that to-do list, a lot of it doesn't really need to get done. A lot of it can kind of fall by the wayside. Like, I don't know. I say this out loud, but I don't mean it. But like, if I don't make my bed, I won't die. Like the whole world will not explode if I'm lazy and don't make my bed. So I can choose to use that time for something that's a little bit more high value. Now I'm going to make my bed because that would stress me out. But anyway, you can choose that. Next, we can embrace strategic rest. So we have to recognize that there is importance in those off days, in those down days, in those sitting in the boat with a line in the water and just watching the world go by while you wait for a fish to show up. There's value in that. And so if we can embrace those moments of laziness, that's going to fuel us so we can get back into the world and go be more effective when we get there. And then lastly, we can embrace creative laziness. So we can channel our laziness into innovation. So instead of accepting the status quo, it's like, well, why do we do it that way? That's a hard way, an inefficient way, whatever it may be. We can challenge that and say, you know what? I bet if I slow down a minute and I look and I play a little bit, I can find a more efficient way, a more creative way. And all I can think of there is boards. I have a gal on the team. She's actually doing really, really well. She's rocking it. But she says she's too busy to use boards. And I'm like, oh, girly, there could not be a lazier, easier way to build our business than to use boards. So slow down a minute, use some laziness, go jump in there and figure out how that can work for you. So that's what I had this morning. So thank you for this, Coach. Thanks for humoring me with lazy on a Friday.
It was a good word for the Friday. Yeah, thank you. Guys, we hope you have an amazing weekend. Sandy McFarland, we hope you have the most amazing day ever. Happy birthday to you, lady, in Hot Springs, Arkansas. And let's unmute and get it going. Happy birthday
to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Sandy. Happy birthday to you.
Have a great day, Sandy.
Love you, Sandy.
Great
Love,
Tuesday.
Love you guys.
Time.
Have a great weekend.
love the world.
Bye.
Good to
Love
see you
y'all.
all.
Bye. Happy birthday,
Great
Sandy.
one.